Hi, I'm Charlene Laney, co-founder of Newmaker Financial and certified financial planner. Today, we have our second segment with Michael Idelson, who is an estate planning attorney here in Denver, Colorado. And I wanted to bring up a scenario to him that will hopefully never happen for anyone here who's watching. But say you happen to be a 60-year-old man, you pass away suddenly and obviously, unfortunately, but you feel that you have your estate plan in order insofar as the beneficiaries that you've listed and the simple will that you've put together. But the problem is on your will, you have listed your three children who are still here. And on your accounts, you've listed designated beneficiaries as your ex-wife. What happens in scenarios like this, Michael?
Yeah, such a great question, and comes up like more frequently than people would realize. So actually, it's funny. I have a client right now kind of facing this exact dilemma because we have the will specifies someone differently than the accounts. So in this situation, actually, the account designations are what would control. So that's why I'm always telling people, after you get a divorce or go through a separation, make sure to update those very frequently. I think that's where the role of a financial advisor, financial planner can really be important because I'm sure you're regularly checking in with your clients and going through that process of asking them what those designations look like, because sadly, if those are in conflict with the will, the designations are going to control, and regardless of what the will says, those assets are going to pass according to those designations.
I see. So in the event of this conflict happening, whatever is designated on the accounts themselves, that is just going to trump whatever the will says. No disputing that through probate or anything like that.
Correct. So the way to think about, or the way I like to think about that is sort of an analogy. It's as if if you have, let's say, anything, like if you have a ring and you give that to someone, give that to somebody and your will says, it's going to go to somebody else, but that ring is already gone, like long gone.
Right.
There's nothing for that will can do in that situation. So those assets are already kind of deemed to have transferred according to that designation.
Understood. So in the process of setting up those designations or their designated beneficiaries on your investments or bank accounts, that is equivalent to handing the ring over to that person, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. So when you have a designation set up on an account, it's known as what's called a non-probate transfer. So there's assets that go through probate and the will process, and then there's assets that are deemed separate from probate. And one of those types of assets that are deemed separate from probate are, any account that has a beneficiary designation on it. Now, in the case where there's no designation on an account, like let's say somebody forgot to fill out that form or just doesn't have anybody listed, then that asset would be a probate asset. But as long as there's somebody under that, beneficiary designation that can take that property, that person will be given that property.
Understood. Okay. Yes. And to your point, yes, as financial planners, if we are doing what we should be doing with our clientele, we are checking in with them about their estate plan on a regular basis, and certainly when big life changes happen. So one of the things that we talk to our clients about when they have gone through divorce or someone important in their life has passed away is we have to really take inventory on everything that they have and how all the beneficiaries are listed. And sometimes maybe your wishes for your estate plan have changed as well. So they'll have to circle back with Michael and look at the estate plan again, and also make sure all of the investment accounts reflect that. So such an important piece to bring up here today. Conflicts between wills and what's listed on the accounts, folks. Make sure everything is aligned. Stay tuned this next week for another frequently asked question or frequently unfortunately, topic that comes up in the world of estate planning and how to avoid it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.